I'm Mike Raffenstein, and this is Joe Townsend. And tonight we're going to be presenting our social media plan that we worked with Habitat for Humanity Lake County. So without further ado, I'll slip over into our PowerPoint presentation and walk you through our plan. So how did we decide on Habitat for Humanity Lake County? Well, Joe, a couple months back, working at Annixter, volunteered for a build in Waukegan and spent a full day on site and got to know several of the members there at Habitat Lake County and was introduced to Tim Biendo, the marketing director. And after when this class started, Joe took a little look into Habitat's social media presence and figured out that they could use a little bit of help, and it was a good organization, and reached out to Tim, and he was more than receptive to have us help along the way here. So we worked with Tim and his assistant Anna, and really our evaluation process was several phone calls with Tim and Anna, going through what their goals are, going through their current use. And then we spent a bunch of time just perusing through all the activity on the different sites. In the end, Tim gave us the goal of doubling the number of main Facebook page followers. Now they have 2 Facebook pages, and we'll get more into that later. But their main page, their agency page, is where they're targeting their real target sponsors. And those are the corporations and individuals who can donate between $60,000 and $120,000. So Habitat for Humanity is a nonprofit organization nationwide. They have 1,500 local offices, and to date they've built over 600,000 houses, and they say that provides shelter for more than 3 million people nationwide or worldwide. Their vision is a world where everyone has a decent place to live, and their mission is seeking to put God's love into action. Habitat for Humanity Lake County brings people together to build homes, communities, and hope. So Habitat Lake County was established in 1989, and to date they've built almost 200 homes housing over 600 people. Each year, 10% of their undesignated funds is used to build homes internationally, and to date they have 300 homes in the Philippines housing over 1,000 people. Every night, over 1,700 people sleep in a safe, clean, decent, and affordable home through the efforts of Habitat for Humanity Lake County. So to qualify for a Habitat home, these 4 factors are involved. So the houses are sold at no profit with no interest charged to the mortgage. Homeowners and volunteers build the houses under trained supervision. Individuals, corporations, faith groups, and other provide financial support, and land acquisition and development are partially funded through the federal, state, county, and local sources. Homeowner selection, families of need that are able to contribute 500 hours of sweat equity into the construction of their homes and volunteering. Some of these volunteer hours go towards their retail store, their restore, and various other responsibilities throughout Lake County Habitat that they can volunteer for. So taking a look at their current social media use, this is a snapshot of their website. So you'll see that they've got the 2 Facebook pages, they've got their restore, and then what they call their agency page. They've also got Twitter and LinkedIn shown on their website. There's several others that they're using, but not very much use. So on their Restore Facebook page, at the Restore, they're selling items that have been donated from corporations or individuals, and then they're sold typically at low prices or deeply discounted prices, and the proceeds are used to fund the builds or rehabs of homes. So on this page, they've got 2,700 followers. The main reason they've been able to get a good following on this, Tim Phil's, is that they've got people that are bargain hunters or looking for deals. There's often antiques that are shown here, or there could be cables that are at deep discount prices. Other items for do-it-yourselfers. And what they're looking to get is this type of following on their agency page. So this is the main page, or their agency page, and you can see that they have 903 followers here. Again, here on the main Facebook page, you can see in the upper left, these are Baxter employees that are volunteering. So that's something that they would definitely post on their main Facebook page to give recognition for the volunteers. And throughout a build, they'll be uploading pictures. Again, on the right-hand side there is a picture of Annixter employees during a build. Lower left is an example of a fundraiser coming up that they're advertising there on the main Facebook page. One of the other things that we did find on there was a job application to work for Habitat Lake County, and we felt that that was kind of out of place on the main Facebook page, because the real feeling behind this page needs to be recognition for the people, for what they're doing, and it needs to be about the recipients of these homes and how it changes their lives, because that's what what the draw is for those big donors. So our evaluation, looking at all the sites, we saw on their Facebook page, the main Facebook page, that they're posting about 2 to 3 times per week, which is fairly good for an organization of their size. We did, however, see several gaps of 2 weeks of inactivity. Looking over at their Twitter site, they have 400 followers, but notice that 75% of those followers are other Habitat for Humanity. So we really see Twitter as an area for growth, mostly for the younger demographic, which Joe will get into. As far as content, like I mentioned when we showed the screen grabs, it shows work in process on the build sites, final completions, highlighting volunteers and donors, special events, and sharing of other Habitat for Humanity posts. That was another thing that was quite frequent. To add content they were sharing with other organizations. We feel that there should be a little more emphasis put on the Lake County site and things that are actually going on in Lake County to attract the local businesses. So, and again, the job posting on there, which we felt was out of place on that main page. We also did find some inaccurate information on their main Facebook page, which we pointed out to Tim, just some out-of-date information about how many homes. They listed 100 and 450 people helped when it's actually 200 homes and 600 people helped. So we did point that out, and he's going to get that changed. As far as the team, I mentioned it's just Tim and Anna, and have really limited resources because they are responsible for many other things as well. So they find it hard to do any more than what they're currently doing. Joe and I definitely believe in the importance of social media in an organization like this, as donating and volunteering are really social in nature. And using social media is a very easy way to give recognition to those donors and volunteers and let their communities know that they care about this organization, Habitat for Humanity Lake County. So I will turn it over to Joe now, and he will talk about some of our recommendations.
Thank you, Mike. So as Mike was saying, given the background information of Habitat Lake County and the evaluation process of which we went through, these are the recommendations that we feel need to be set in place for a long-term social media plan to help the viability of Habitat Lake County. So I think from the beginning, they really need to establish a social media vision and a clear message. Tim and Anna need to really sit down and really answer, who are they trying to reach? What is the ultimate goal? When will you provide content? Where will you provide the content? And ultimately, why are they doing social media? Currently, if you look at their use, they're doing social media because, hey, everyone else is doing it, we need to do it, right? They don't have a vision and a mission in place, so they don't have a target in which they're trying to accomplish. They really need some structure and a dedicated path for which to go down to help them. And answering these questions, developing this plan will certainly help them govern some of the choices that they'll make in the future regarding social media. Their social media needs to work together. Currently, if you look at Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, there is not a marketing program that really bumps off of each other, right? So they get a good story and they throw it on Facebook, but there's really no meaning behind it. It's just, hey, let's just inform someone, right? So currently, we would like to see their marketing program really work where LinkedIn is more of a soft sell, kind of informing, and maybe Twitter could be a snapshot and a link to a story, and Facebook is more of a like content behind it of a particular feel good of a donor or a volunteer. Lastly, their internal social media team is very tiny, only the 2 members, but it's important for them to have the documentation behind it, that the director of marketing is in charge of it, and who he chooses as an assistant or a team of assistants will help him. And only that team or that dedicated team are really touching the social media and making those posts available to the public. We want to start off with Facebook because Facebook, if you look at their content currently right now, Facebook really has all the eggs in the basket for Habitat. I would say about 95% of their social media really is on Facebook. And they need to clean up their agency site as a beginning start. Mike touched on it earlier regarding the job posting. That job posting really needs to be in LinkedIn. It's okay if you link them together, but you don't want to have the entire posting on a page in which you're trying to attract those corporate followers for the proceeds that they're looking to grow, as well as the volunteers. It needs to be very professional. People want to be proud of being associated with a great organization like Habitat Lake County. Looking at the Facebook algorithm right now, we feel that Lake County, Habitat Lake County needs to provide more videos over pictures over context. Currently, of their 900 followers, if they put up a post, they're getting maybe 50 likes on a context. For pictures, maybe 100. For videos, you're going to see much more. And the fact that they document their build sites from beginning to end, from the moment that the shovel touches the dirt to the moment that the key is handed over to the homeowner, the video slide shares are certainly going to make that a nice, clean, professional link that they can share on that Facebook page. Lake County is very large. There are smaller communities throughout Lake County, and we feel that Habitat really needs to be involved in all those local hangouts. The hangouts in Lake Forest and Deerfield, Vernon Hills, and Libertyville. One of the problems that Habitat has, even though they're large in nature, is sometimes people want to get involved, but they don't know how. If they are involved in those local hangouts, it's a direct link for someone in Waukegan who wants to donate their time, right? To, hey, oh, now I see Habitat Lake County here. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to start following them, and that's going to be a pathway not only for a follower, but for also a future volunteer, possibly for them. And lastly, for Facebook, they really need to work on their cross-marketing with corporations. With having such strong relationships with people like AbbVie, Abbott, Annixter, and Baxter, Habitat needs to be on those websites, as well as they need to put those corporations' website links on their Facebook page as well. Next, LinkedIn and Twitter. They're both currently being used by Habitat, but really not to the extent that they should be. Twitter currently is seeing a large upswing of users. especially the younger demographics that are getting away from Facebook. Because maybe their aunts, uncles, parents, grandparents are starting to use Facebook and they don't want to be part of a social media with their parents. So Twitter is certainly seeing that upswing. Habitat can benefit from using Twitter because that is a more of a direct link to the 20 and 30-year-old corporate individual contributors who may not have the extra income to donate directly to Habitat, but certainly want to make a difference and can maybe get their corporations more involved with Habitat. LinkedIn, we talked about earlier, the soft sell and job applications. They certainly, Tim, Anna, other people at Habitat, their other full-time employees can certainly use the LinkedIn, their LinkedIn profiles to share stories, share volunteer stories, share why volunteering is important in communities. Not so much link Habitat directly to that story, but just a volunteering story in general. People are already going to see that someone like Tim works for Habitat, right? But it's a way to soft sell and acquire followers. Some other social media that we feel that Habitat really needs to take advantage. Flickr, with the amount of pictures that they take on a daily basis, they can use a social media a site like Flickr to organize and track and maintain the content for them. YouTube, we talked about videos for Facebook. YouTube is another great social media that they can use for their videos. We would like to see them do a blog or start a blog. Daily, weekly, monthly. They could choose who they want to provide content from, but certainly a blog would be nice. And then in the future, maybe a year down the road, look at an app. Look at maybe designing an app. Habitat for Humanity does have an application, but we've also found that there are other smaller counties like Smith County, Habitat for Humanity Smith County, that has their own app. If Lake County could develop their own app or have an app developed for them, it is certainly a way for an individual to follow Lake County right on their iPhone, right in their pocket. They can pull it out, they can launch it, and they can see exactly what Habitat Lake County is doing currently. Now, one of the big things for recommendations that we had was the promotion of social media. Being that Tim and Anna are really the only two members right now for their marketing team, and we really like to see them get more involved in business networking in Lake County. Two great options that we've presented to them was there's a women's business networking as well as the Lake County Chamber of Commerce. On LinkedIn, there is also a Lake County networking group for businesses that we would like to see Habitat be more involved in. We would also like to see them integrate their web presence into their offline advertising, meaning, hey, you need to put that Facebook, that Twitter, that LinkedIn logo on your brochures in which you're putting out to corporations or to the individual volunteers so they know where they can find you. Trade shows and events. And then next, they already have vehicles. They already have trucks that they have to carry their supplies in. They need to use those vehicles as billboards. It doesn't have to be a gigantic Facebook logo across the side of the truck by any means, but certainly putting it on the truck somewhere so that anyone driving and sees that and sees that they can follow their great organization would certainly be beneficial. And lastly, networking with the volunteers. Habitat does a great job of talking to the volunteers while they're on their website, or I'm sorry, while they're on their build site, but we feel that they should really, and this is something that Tim can do and be very simple, build a 5-question survey, right? And have those volunteers fill out those surveys for him. And then that would be able to also be another tool for monitor and control for him. It doesn't have to be overly complicated. It can be very simple. Get some demographic information, and then the main thing is, hey, do you use social media? And if you do, what sites do you use? Lastly, I would like to see him have an option on there for other, and if people are using other social media that he already has out there, have them write it in. this would be a good opportunity for him to monitor trends and new social media sites that particular demographics are starting to use and follow. So we talked a little bit about monitor and control. Because Tim and Anna are only a team of 2, it's really important to have the tools available for them that will help them monitor, control, adjust their social media, their posts, but also free up time for them to do other marketing things that they have to do. So we really like to see them start to use Hootsuite. Hootsuite would be able to be utilized to manage and track their social media use. Something that I would like to see them use is Buffer. Buffer is a social media tool that Tim or Anna can sit down. They can implement the post in which they want to use throughout the week for Habitat Lake County. They can tell Buffer where they want to post it, when they want to post it, and then Buffer schedules the post for them and will automatically upload the post as those times expire. Right. Lastly, Animoto. Animoto is a tool that is used to create slideshows from pictures. They can create a free account. They can link it to either Flickr, or they can upload the photos from their own hard drive. It's very simple to create. It's very easy to use and simple to create a slideshow, and you can even do it to music. Once it's complete, they can immediately upload it to Facebook, upload it to their YouTube. Again, these are all tools that it takes the complicated effort of managing social media, and it makes it very easy for a team of 2 to do that. We've provided them some alternatives. If Tim decides that he doesn't want to do Flickr, or they don't want to do YouTube, and they want to really stick with Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn, Sprout Social is a great tool to post, collaborate, and schedule all in one. But it only works across those 3 sites. ReachPod and Sociota are great alternatives to Hootsuite, which I've heard doesn't have. Sometimes Hootsuite doesn't have the greatest, the easiest to use usability. So we've noticed that people have been using ReachPod and Sociota. One that I really like is Bitly. Bitly is a calculator. It'll track, and it'll be able to provide Tim the necessary information just to see how his marketing programs are performing across the different social media sites. So a big one for them is now the timeline for implementation. We feel that the timeline should be over a year because they already have something in place. This is really, hey, let's get a development plan going. Let's start it from beginning to end and see how it positively affects the goal of really bringing more of those corporate donors to their main Facebook page. So 0 to 3 months, Tim and Anna really need to create their social media plan of the who, what, when, where, why, how. They can clean up their current social media, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. In the 3 to 6 month time frame, we'd like to see them introduce the new social media, start to use Flickr, start to use YouTube, create that blog that we were talking about. Invest in social media tools, Hootsuite, Buffer, and Animoto during this time frame. This is also the time when they're going to start to create that cross-marketing plan. They're going to target their maybe current corporations that they're working with, as well as new corporations. And it's also a time where they need to start to push promote social media within their marketing department. And not just them, but really all the people that are involved in Habitat need to get the word out. At this time, they can incorporate different social media sites as well. The 6 to 9 month time frame is really where we felt that they're going to continue with their strategy, their marketing programs, but it's also that time where monitor and control is a little bit more vital because you have more data, because you've now run programs, your marketing programs for 6, 3 months, 9 months. You're going to have more data to give you a better outlook or a better snapshot of how those programs are working for you. So you'll be able to look at your social media programs. Because we've introduced, or we like them to use tools like Hootsuite and Buffer, we're hoping that these tools make the social media a little bit easier for them to manage. And if that is the case, then it's certainly going to open up more time for Tim and Anna to look at trends in the marketplace as well as competition. Not so much competition, and we view, Mike and myself view competition not as other organizations that are building homes, but any other organization that people can donate time and money to is really competition for Habitat Lake County. In that 9 to 12 month time frame, we like to see them make adjustments if necessary. They're going to make adjustments anyway because it's marketing. It changes monthly, quarterly, annually. We'd like to see them really dive into their education of additional social media, start to use those surveys that they have, that they've garnered from volunteers, and really start to look at maybe new social media sites that people are starting to use, as well as competition and trends within that marketplace. And then last but not least, we talked about it earlier, but developing the app for Habitat for Humanity Lake County. Now, is Lake County going to develop it? I don't know. But they can at least look into it, ask the questions, meet with the individuals that can do it for them, and see where it would go. It would certainly be very easy for a volunteer to download the app and then immediately be able to follow Habitat Lake County in the palm of their hand. So one of the, to finish it, I would like to state that this has been a great project to work on with Mike, and to work with an organization like Habitat Lake County. Tim and Anna were phenomenal individuals, and we hope that they put the plan in place that we're suggesting. And I know from my takeaway from this project has been just the depth of social media, and how you need a development plan in place that's going to help govern and help lay the path for you. Otherwise, it's very easy for you to get stuck in the weeds. Mike?
Yeah, as far as my final thoughts and takeaways, I mean, we had a conversation today with Tim where we presented the same presentation to him, and he was, very grateful and took a lot of notes during the process. He, he really liked that we had picked through and found things that to him seemed completely normal, like the job posting. There was some misinformation on there that we caught that he says, "Wow, great, thank you. I'm gonna go change that tomorrow," which we'll follow up on to make sure he did. And besides that, all the tools that Joe did, all the great research on, talked to his counterparts at Annixter, got feedback from a larger organization, and said, hey, this is what's really working. This is what we see. Tim found that very valuable. So I think he's got a lot of homework ahead of him that he plans to do. And he really does see, what we see in the importance of social media in a nonprofit organization like Habitat Lake County. So, I myself learned a ton from this project and had a good time, and I plan on actually going and doing some volunteering myself. So with that, we will sign off, and hope all of you have a great evening.